What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. And of course, one half of the pod. Got my guy Thad here. He's back home. Looks like he's back in his room. Just glad to have another show, another episode with you. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. Back home for a couple of weeks, like I said, until my parents get on my nerves enough till I got to go back home. But glad to do another episode. Glad to talk some ball. We got a lot, going on in the COVID world, the NBA and NFL coming up. So glad to be on.
For sure. We got just a bunch to talk about just in general. Obviously, little topics we're going to hit on today. We always do college football. Pretty big day in college football world yesterday for a few kids, of course, signing, but also a few unexpected things that we didn't, expect to happen with certain teams and certain players. And certain coaches getting in their feelings as well. Then, of course, it's going to be a big something or nothing day, a bunch of something or nothing topics across the NFL, NBA, just sports in general. And then, of course, we'll finish up talking about Thursday night football. Got a matchup that's pretty much going to decide the AFC West tonight, I believe. And then, of course, get into our NFL pick 'ems as well. But before we do all of that, of course, got to drop the tape.
Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win!
Don't you open your mouth about the best. Or I'm going to shut it for you real quick. LOB.
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Lewis gets it to LeBron for three for the win. Yes! LeBron James at the buzzer!
Pass is caught! Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
What was your mindset when you stepped in the batter's box?
Go yard. I mean, I'm a pitcher. Why not swing as hard as I can? I got nothing to lose.
It's nothing to man above. Don't put you in situations that you can't handle. Instead of saying, why me? They're saying this is what he want me to do. And, Cleveland! This is for you!
The way we approach the game is the same way we approach life. You do the right thing. You make the right play. Make the right play. And in life, it's the same thing. What do you feel in your heart is the right thing to do? And you do that. It seems so simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the hardest things to do. And I think it's just that.
Welcome to
What?
The game.
Me.
To me.
All right. And we are back. First things first, of course, we always hit on college football. And like I said, yesterday was a pretty big day in the college football world. But two head coaches that kind of said a few things that stood out to me. One being Dabo Swinney from Clemson. Of course, he stated, it's chaos right now, tampering galore, adults manipulating young men. Education is the last thing on their mind right now. And then Lane Kiffin also said a few words, pretty much just calling college football at the moment, just free agency for, these young kids, whether it's, transfer portal or, kids coming in, signing as well. So just wanted to get your thoughts, of course, on this, Thad, before we can talk something other topics. But, are these college coaches just in their feelings, or do they kind of have a point in all of this?
I think they're just in their feelings a little bit. Like Jeff said, college football has always been about money. It's just, who's making it now. Dabo Swinney's making $8 million a year. I don't see any reason why he should be complaining why kids are making money. As he knows when he goes to recruit some of these kids, some of these guys come from very bad, home structures. They're very poor. They don't have anything. If they weren't able to play football and get a scholarship to play football, they wouldn't be going to college. They'd be out on the streets. And for him to say something like that, I just don't really understand it. I think he just has a problem with, kids having more and more power. The more money they'll make, the more they won't be willing to take, BS from coaches and stuff and just stuff stuff they put up with. Now they're making money. They're able to make decisions. And I just think that it's not that big of a deal. Coaches just having a problem with not having a complete power. Having kids making $1 million just like you or six figures just like you is a problem to some coaches. And Lane Kiffin, he's making money as well. I just don't see the big issue with it. Some coaches are staying quiet. And I feel like this is long overdue. Athletes Dabo Swing, the reason why he's making $8 million a year is because of the guys he recruits. It's not just because of him. He's a good coach, but if he didn't recruit these top-notch players that come from these backgrounds and stuff, he wouldn't be where he is today. So I think it's a little bit selfish, but I'm not really the biggest fan of Dabo anyway. So it is what it is. But yeah, he's just blown this out of proportion. Lane Kiffin, I understand his point, but he didn't sound as bad as Dabo. You know, Dabo has a complete problem with it. If it was up to him, I remember he made a statement about a year ago, like he was completely out on players making money, and I completely disagree. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, same thing here. Like I said, it was just funny. Well, Lane Kiffin, what he said was pretty funny to me. But like you said, Dabo, I feel like a little bit has to do with it. Like I said, kind of like the control power as a coach. Like you said, the obviously more of the power is shifting to the kids. With them pretty much going wherever they want to go because of these NIL deals. It's possible they can make money and obviously get playing time because like the main things first. Like obviously they're there to get an education, but most of these kids, after their third year, especially like you say, we got the talent. And even if not, they're trying to make it to the next level, try to make it to the NFL, and going to some of these schools or certain schools like obviously Clemson. Sometimes you third, fourth on the roster, but somewhere else you can be number one, number two, and then like I say, also making money, also putting tape out there, and possibly making your dreams come true in the NFL. So I think a lot of it for Dabo, especially, is like and we even seen it this year. Like Clemson wasn't anything that we thought they were going to be this year, and it's possible like this could be a trend in the future. Like they may not begin all these top five or these 5-star recruits, these 4-star recruits, and just continue to pump them out. Like Alabama, it seemed like a few years ago that's what we were talking about. Clemson was doing and was going to do. Like they were on the rise. It's probably neck and neck with Alabama, but I feel like for Dabo, especially, like, it's definitely like a power, like a control thing. So he's starting to see it slip away. These kids are starting to be able to make their own decisions, think for themselves, and do the things that they want to do. Like I said, we're going to talk about it soon with Travis Hunter. But, with him, I think it's just like he's starting to see like that, the powerhouse of Clemson. I'm not going to say it's fully gone. Like, obviously, they still have a high recruiting class. I think was like top 10 or something like that. But they're going to continue, to pump out athletes and control the ACC in a way. But, I just think he's starting to see the control slip, and he obviously doesn't like that. That old school mentality that, kids should be kids, they're coming to school, they're getting free education, all that. So I think that's mainly what it is with him for sure. But so Kiffin, it was just funny, like you say, he's saying it's kind of like free agency in college football. And I mean, even if it is in a way, so in a way it is, because obviously we see transfer report, like you can pretty much, like Emory Jones is going to play for us in like a week or two, but he's already said he's going to be in the transfer portal. So these kids can pretty much go wherever they want. I'm all for it. I know you're all for it as well. And so just putting more power in the players' hands, which should have always been. But you say it's definitely just funny to see him, kind of upset, guys' panties in a bunch about, just not being able to control as much as he's been able to control in the past. But, that's what world's come to, and I like it.
That's Dabo, though. He's been complaining a lot for the last couple of years when stuff doesn't go exactly how he wants. So
exactly. Like I say, and probably, like I say, it's probably just shifting more towards that anyway. So he's going to be. You better get on the program. You better figure out, a different recruiting strategy. You better stop saying stuff like this, or certain kids are just gonna just play elsewhere, honestly. But of course, we gotta get into our something or nothing topics. These first two topics, I don't think you're gonna be too happy with me about, but we gotta talk about them. A kid, honestly, it's a kid from Collins Hill, obviously a county that we both played football in and grew up in. Travis Hunter, number one recruit, number one athlete in the nation. Was a Florida State commit up until about 24, 26 hours ago. He flipped to Jackson State University, where he wants to learn and play under Deion Sanders. So something or nothing about this flip. Obviously, they've gone from a Power 5 school to a lower FCS divisional school. But obviously, it's kind of like a shift in these players and what they want to do and where they want to go. Because obviously, like also him. It's also been reported that he possibly has a $1.5 million deal with Barstool. I don't know. Someone said it was fake, but then also people were saying it's real. I don't even know. I think it's real now. I don't even know. I got to clarify. I'm pretty sure maybe but just something or nothing, like these athletes, flipping to these schools and pretty much playing wherever they want to. I know we saw a shift of it last year in college basketball, especially with McCurr, Maker. I believe he went to Howard. Obviously, Power 5 schools he was able to go to. And there's a few other kids that were in high level Division Ones. They end up transferring out to HBCUs as well. So now we're seeing in the football landscape. So what do you think? Something or nothing?
100% something. As much as I hate it, as much as I not hate it, was kind of saddened by the news. My favorite school, a kid that played in the county we played high school football in, which is the SEC of high school football, in my opinion. Just like for this all to happen, it hurt, but it's definitely something. Deion's changing the game, man. I had a feeling that it just took a couple of people, Deion to go down there to win immediately, go 11-1, and just the African American athletes kind of just thinking of it a little more. Why not go play for your people? I understand there's no problem with going to play to a big school, but why not go play for a fan base and a team that really supports you, wants the best for you? When you go to Bama, they love you when you're on the field, but when you take your when you take your helmet off, you're just another guy to them. It's not that important. And Deion's just changing the game. This year, he had a lot of D1 bounce backs join his squad, and the results have shown. A guy named Tony Gray that I know, he went to high school out here. He was at UCF, and Deion got him to come down there. He was a 4-star. He went to the opening in high school, so he's just changing the game. And I think that Travis Hunter, he's really legendary for this because he's going to start a wave. I really believe it's not going to be a whole bunch, but I could see every year, out of the top 100, 2 or 3 guys going to Jackson State, a FAMU, Tennessee State, a Grambling, and he just starting a wave that people will follow. Hugh Jackson just got hired as the coach for Grambling State. Eddie George is at Tennessee State. It's just a lot of guys that that are coaches or players in the NFL trying to, put HBCUs on top. And I really do love it as much as, we lost. This guy was committed since March 2020, almost 2 years, and he flipped on signing day. As much as I hate it for the FSU program, I love it for the HBCUs and what's going to, this is just a legendary moment. And I feel like in the future, we're just going to see a lot more of that, and it's just going to change the game. I'm really grateful for it. Like,
yeah,
I think I said this a while back. If I was a 5-star, I would not choose a HBCU over a Power 5 school, but he took that jump, he took that leap of faith, and Deion he bought into Deion's vision, and I really think it's going to work out. But it's definitely something. This is just changing the game. I promise you, we're going to have all the head coaching vacancies in the HBCUs and of the FCS level. We're going to see more and more get filled, and more high level recruits come join. Like Hugh Jackson might have a decent recruiting class this year. He might get some 4 stars, maybe 5 stars, not yet, but 3 stars and 4 stars for sure. So it's just changing the game, and I'm proud to see African American athletes, playing for their people.
Exactly. Yeah, like you said, I know it hurt the FSU community for sure. I know you saw like the little viral clip of the
ignorant, bro.
Yeah, the one dude just going off and being mad in the spaces that they had on Twitter. So it was pretty funny to me. But overall, like you said, it definitely is changing the game. We saw a little bit of it last year in the basketball space, college basketball space. Now this year we're seeing it, in college football. And like I said, I definitely think it's gonna continue a trend for sure. Especially like I said, you just said, of course, like obviously when we was graduating in 2015, like NIL wasn't even really a thing, wasn't thought of. It wasn't something that we foresaw even coming. So of course, like back then, you saying, if I'm a 5-star, I probably wouldn't have made this move. But of course, like we've been talking about today, all of yesterday, things are changing, landscape changing, guys are getting money. And obviously, I think I said it before on a different show, but if you can play, and coaches say all the time too, if you can play, they're gonna find you. Like college guys are gonna find you. So, especially him being down there, like I said, with Deion, obviously regarded as one of the better players, ever to play the game, especially at quarterback position. He can learn under him. I know he's an athlete, he's played receiver and he plays corner, but going to learn from somebody that's considered one of the best of the best, playing at a school that support like you said, they're gonna have your back, they're gonna support you, being an HBCU, getting your money with your NIL deals, like it's pretty much just the perfect situation. And like you said, I know it's gonna happen for more athletes, of his stature as well. And I like you said, I like the move as well. Just like everything he's done, like I said, just putting, HBCUs on the map, even more, and definitely see it, becoming a trend in the later future. But say Deion's working, man. Someone tweeted out yesterday, you always know how people be like, Dell works hard, but Chris Jenner works harder. Somebody pretty much said the same thing about Deion. It was like, Dell works hard, but Deion, is working harder and smarter down there. But like you said, he's building a great program. I know he's going to continue to. And real quick before we move on to the next thing, like I know a few years ago before you guys got Norville.
Oh, man.
It was definitely a topic of possibly bringing in Deion, but, a lot of people, I think a lot of boosters were against it. So just kind of like your take on that. Like now they seeing what he's doing in Jackson State, and all this could have been happening at FSU, could have put you guys back on the map since the Jameis days. So, what you think about it?
Bro, I literally was about to ask you, let me say one more thing so I could say that. Like, this could all potentially have been avoided if we hired Deion, because he was in the running. But I understand, boosters and the AD not potentially, like, maybe this could be a disaster. He had no real head coaching experience. He coached at Trinity in Texas, but that's not the ACC. So I completely understand. But this could have, if he was our coach, we wouldn't be losing Travis Hunter. He literally said this was his dream school, but Deion sold him a vision about how he can change the game as, one of the first athletes maybe to go in the first round out of an HBCU. Maybe there's been some other people. Let me not spit stuff that's not facts out, but this could have all been avoided. And it sucks. We're going to be trash. Not saying one player would have changed, FSU, because one player can't change the game completely. That can't stop us from going 5-7. But it definitely hurts, man. And I don't know where we're going to go from here. But shout out to Prime and Travis Hunter for changing the game. And shout out to, a Gwinnett County native for making history. Folks just do it big out here.
Like I said, it just, it just keeps rolling. Like I said, Collins Hill has always been decent, but definitely put him on the map these past few years. Won them a state championship, and he's just feeling good. Like he's got it made at this point in this moment. Just hope everything continues to work in his favor and work in his way. Even when you say going to Jackson State, and like I said, hopefully being one of the, like I said, I won't spit out facts either. I don't know, but one of the first players to maybe possibly go in the first round, when that time comes in the NFL draft. So, but like I said, also another thing that probably don't want to talk about, don't want to hear, obviously has to do with your team again. From college to the NFL, you got at 12:40 something, like 12:45 or something last night. The news came in. I think the Lakers game had just finished. Somebody's game just finished. I just finished watching. I think Utah. It was Utah game. They were playing somebody. Oh, Utah and the Clippers. And it came in that Urban Meyer was fired as the head coach. I know the day beforehand, I had it already, put it up as a topic for us. But ex-Jags kicker, accused him. Josh Lambo accused him of kicking him during a preseason game, which is wild to even hear. But like I said, all in all, Urban Meyer is fired. Only lasted 13 games. I can sentiment with you because we had a coach with the Atlanta Falcons that only lasted 13 games.
Petrino.
Yep, Petrino came from college football as well. Pretty much left us in the dust, left us for dirt, left us to die. But this actually might be an even better situation for you guys because the last few weeks it's just been hell. Urban Meyer's been all over the media scape, pretty much every single day. But something or nothing, Urban Meyer getting fired, and even like I said, just hearing that an ex-player of his, he kicked him during a preseason game. Like, just obviously, I know where you're going with it, but something or nothing, him being fired.
This is again 100% something. This needed to happen. This is a big deal for us. This is a move that Shad Khan needed to make. Like right now, he couldn't let this play out the last 4 games because it was just going to get more toxic, and the environment surrounding the Jaguars would just be awful. And we can't ruin our rookie quarterback, more than we already have in a way. It's just wild, man. From him, NFL coach, not riding the team, playing home, going to your little bar, getting caught messing with a little girl while you got a whole wife. From him arguing with one of our veteran leaders on the team, Marvin Jones Jr., challenging the assistant coaches in a staff meeting. And I heard I saw this little thing on Twitter. He was like, he said, you guys are terrible. My staff at Bowling Green was better. So it's just overall toxic environment. On top of that, we were 2-11, and then I don't know what it is, man. He just doesn't handle losing well. Like at Ohio State, I think he lost like 9 games in like 7 years, and this year he's already lost 11. So it's just I don't think he's a very good dude, honestly, overall. And he just couldn't take the losing. And then to top it off, this man, Josh Lambo, before we cut him, he was in a slump this year. I don't know what happened. He missed his first 3 kicks, and he had a groin injury, so we cut him. But before, he had missed like 5 kicks in the last 3 years. Like we picked him up in the middle of our AFC Championship season in 2017, and he was one of our better players, honestly, one of our most consistent and reliable players. But this man, I don't care who you are, even in college. I know a college player might be a little scared, but you kick somebody, and you come up to them like while they're stretching and say, hey, dipshit, make your kick, and you kick them. Like I don't care how you kick them. Maybe it was a little love tap, but you don't put your feet on anybody. Your feet are for walking, and it's just this man's out of control. And if he would have called the wrong person, he did it to the right person. The narrative goes around, not kickers are soft, but they're just, cool guys. Like if he did that to a lineman, he'd be in the hospital. He'd been in the hospital while getting fired. But it's just something we had to get him out of here. It wasn't working. It felt like he was kind of losing passion. And I felt like he was doing things to get fired. Like you get asked about one of your rookie players who we drafted in the 3rd round, who I wanted, Andre Cisco. Why has he not been playing more snaps? And then he says he has been. And then you go look at the box score. I mean, not the box score, but the stats and stuff. And he didn't play any snaps besides special teams. Like this man has no clues going on with the personnel. You're supposed to have your eyes on everything as a head coach and just know about everything that's going on with your team. He was just. At this point, I think he was trying to get fired. The money's guaranteed when you're a coach. So he was like, I secured the bag, I finessed him. Yeah. He really didn't care. And I'm just glad we got this done with when we did. We didn't let it play out any longer. We're gonna win this week. We're gonna blow out the Texans, but this is the whole I'm glad we moved in this direction. We got rid of this guy. I'm definitely not a fan of him. Wasn't a fan of him before because he was at Florida, but definitely not a fan now. And this is something he never touches the NFL again as a head coach or a coordinator or whatever. And I think he'll get a job as an AD once everything dies down. But just the perception of him is just not going to be good. He's not going to be well respected, even though he's a winner.
It's pretty shot. Yeah, for sure. Like I say, it's like I said, it's really just it's college level or nothing else for him. Like I said, we didn't even really, we kept hearing rumblings this past offseason that they might possibly look at him because, obviously you guys had the number 1 pick was going to take Trevor Lawrence. But, I never thought it was a great fit. I never seen Urban Meyer as really an NFL guy anyway. Like I felt like his place has always been in college football. And as you can see, he said, I know like he didn't have much working in his favor, but like I don't feel like looking at the talent-wise, like you guys aren't as bad as what's been put out on the field, like a lot of it obviously is due to Urban Meyer, just him being in the spotlight pretty much since he got there, and it's just been a train wreck and downhill from there. And like you said, just all the news that's been coming out these past few weeks has just been disgusting. Like I said, kicking people, calling your coaching staff losers. Like I say, obviously getting caught in the bar after a loss, and your own bar, and you have a wife at home. It's just crazy. Like it's like you said, he definitely I feel like was doing things to get fired. They say in a year or two he'll just he'll stay low, keep low, and then like I said, we'll see his name pop up somewhere as an AD or assistant or maybe even head coach somewhere in college football space. But like I said, definitely should have never touched the NFL ever again. And like I said, he was a terrible coach, but it sounds like he's even even worse of a person just in general, like just an ass in all aspects. Like it's just so crazy, like how this stuff is even flying. Like a lot of that stuff, don't want to bring race into it. Let it have been an African American coach. One of these things happened, just one of them.
He's out of there, bro.
Yeah, he's out of there for good. Like I said, everybody keeps talking about Jim Caldwell's on the couch. He's been on the couch. Like how's this guy, a head coach? But Caldwell's been on the pretty much not looking for a job, but like is out of a head coaching job for the past 3 years, I want to say. Yeah. So
after going 9-7.
Yeah, and they haven't had a winning season since. So, like I said, Jim Caldwell's out there. I know. Before I say we move on, I know Byron Leftwich has been a name that's been brought up a lot. Obviously, one of the better quarterbacks of you guys' franchise, and now the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Bucks. We see what he's done with them and all the talent over there. So, do you think that's a good hire, a good replacement, or do you think they should look somewhere else?
I'm honestly not too mad at it. It's crazy that my dad was one of the first people to bring this up like weeks ago. Like we should hire Leftwich. He was kind of saying it as a joke, but he was serious. And I mean, as an offensive mind, he's came up. Bruce Arians had good things to say about him when he was in Arizona, and he played for us. If he can get some good veteran assistant coaches to help him, because running the team is different. Running the team and calling plays. But he's a great offensive mind. Played the position. I think he embraced the challenge of turning around a franchise he once played for. So I'm all for it. They need to do their due diligence with all the candidates and stuff. Maybe EB, maybe what's the other guy's name? I can't even think of. EB, maybe Brian Daboll with the Bills. Somebody offensive minded that can come in and get the offense, get the quarterback straight first, everything around it. But
Mhm.
I'm not too opposed to it, and I'm interested to see what happens in the offseason. Hopefully we can make a big splash, but let's not go get anybody from college, please, Shotgun.
Yeah,
Please.
definitely. Like I said, some type of NFL experience for sure. Because don't want to have a repeat. I don't think anybody can repeat what he's done. Like it would be very, very hard to do so. But
I will say real quick before you move on, though, Bobby Petrino
Mhm.
was worse because he left y'all like after a Monday
Yeah.
night football game and he didn't say anything. So
Exactly. Like I said, he just left. Like I said, at least Urban was fired, but it's like just the things that both of them did obviously just aren't excusable whatsoever. But like I said, Urban was just in the headlines constantly. Like obviously back in the day with Petrino was head coach, like you said, social media wasn't as big, so it's like news didn't travel as much and as fast. But it's just a different ball game nowadays. Like there's so many stories and so many angles that you can get, just from like I said, social media. That's the main thing. Like everything pretty much is powered by that nowadays. But I'm sure a lot of this would have came out if social media was a big thing back in the day with Bobby Petrino was our head coach as well. Because I think it was just starting to take off. Like, had like Facebook and stuff like that, but not like Twitter and all this stuff. Like how things are big nowadays. But anyway, of course, moving on. We both had trash coaches for our for both of our franchises. If nobody's gotten that by now, but we're looking a little bit brighter. I don't know about the Jaguars, but hopefully you guys like you said, make a big splash next year and it's different come around because Trevor Lawrence could definitely use it. But this year, right now, big thing that we're dealing with, both NFL and NBA. I'll move this real quick. Oh, that's the wrong one, but I'll move this real quick. I think it's 70 plus. It's probably more now, especially coming out today. I think I found this maybe a day or two ago. In the NFL, 70 plus people that's under health and safety protocols, and in the NBA, 30 plus. I know the team that's been hit the hardest in the NBA, I want to say the Bulls for sure. I think Milwaukee also is a team that's been hit pretty hard. The Knicks as well. It's one other team. I know Russell just got put in the health and safety protocol, so it's hit the Lakers pretty hard too. I think Dwight and THT's in there as well. But for the NFL, I think the Rams had like 14 at a point with OBJ being one, and I think Washington had about 6. It's a lot of teams that have a lot of players that's in the health and safety protocols right now. So obviously because just COVID, but the variant that's traveled over and spread it very, very fast. But something that a lot of people don't want to hear, don't want to think about. But there is a lot of players just overall in other leagues as well that are in the COVID protocol. But something or nothing. Do you think sports may get shut down or should get shut down? Because like I said, it's each and every day, almost each and every hour, we're hearing there's new players, new people that's being put in the COVID protocol. Obviously, some of these players are vaccinated. Some of these coaches are vaccinated, and they just need I think 2 back-to-back COVID tests to come up negative, and they're able to rejoin the teams and play again. And I think the NFL just released some new protocols that they're revamping and putting new steps in place. But something or nothing, it's too many players in the protocol. Do you think that they should possibly think about shutting down sports, or are these revamped protocols that the NFL, NBA possibly may drop good enough?
It's 3 for 3 today. This one is definitely something. I don't know about the protocol. I don't know about stopping the season because it's a business and they're going to find any way to make this spread. So I don't think they're stopping the season, but it's definitely something. I just think overall, which what happens with humans, everybody got a little lackadaisical. I'm not saying I have, but everybody's back in the stands. After games, players are dapping each other up. I know they're vaccinated, but players are giving fans jerseys, cleats, and stuff, interacting with the fans after the games, and you don't know what the protocols are. Some places, you have to be vaccinated to go, but some places you don't. You just have to wear a mask. You know how people they get comfortable, they take their mask off. Everybody's just gotten comfortable, and this is honestly something I expected. Like the fact that we were going so smoothly for half of the season with fully packed stands and fully packed NBA arenas. This breakout was it was kind of long overdue. And it's just something, everybody they have to tighten up on the protocols as they, NFL and NBA is trying to do. But it is not, I'm not very surprised, man. It's something, but I'm not surprised. Just with everybody, COVID didn't go away. Everybody is acting like COVID went away. But the stands are full and everything's acting like normal in the sports world. At the bottom line is to make money, but everybody just got lackadaisical, and I saw this coming. hopefully, with the protocols tightening up and stuff, everything dies down a little bit. But it's definitely like I'm not surprised. The NBA's gotten hit a little harder though. It's like everyday players are coming out. The Bulls had
sure.
8 rotational players. The Knicks are getting hit hard. The Lakers are getting hit hard. It's tough.
So
And like you
guys,
said, the Rams, they lost Jalen Ramsey and Tyler Higbee before the Monday night game, and then they lost Odell after. So it's just, I don't know. Maybe hopefully nothing comes out about Steph, but I saw they posted something about Kevin Knox getting COVID, and then they showed a picture of him hugging Steph after the game when he broke the record on Tuesday night, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know, man. I really don't.
Yeah, it's like I said, that's why I'm just thinking, like, is it one of those things? Like, I know they can't shut it down like they did obviously when COVID first hit, because that was a month-long thing, and they had to put, well, at least for the NBA, they had to put a lot of obviously put the bubble in place for that to even consider to be continued. But it's like I said, it's literally every day, every hour something is happening. Someone's being put in health and safety protocol. Like I said, literally an hour ago, Russ was put in it. I know, like I said, it's a little different because some of these guys are vaccinated, but like you said, I definitely foresee this coming as well. Like I work at for the Hawks State Farm, and like you said, it really don't feel like it's COVID whatsoever. Like things are like, you can have a mask. And we're also in Georgia too, but you could have a mask coming in, but a lot of times, like I don't think they really enforce them keeping it on, like keeping it on their face and stuff. So like you said, as humans, we get lax, especially like even me, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people as well, like they probably stopped watching the news. They probably don't even know. Some people probably don't even know a variant is going around right now, and possibly should consider getting your booster shot. If not, get the COVID shot if you don't have it. But I know for me as well, like I got kind of lax. Like I'm vaccinated. I know you are too. Like just feeling like, all right, like I'm kind of not immune. Like I'm good. Like, but at the same time, just not. Like I said, just taking those necessary precautions, especially like sometimes, like I said, with the mask, sometimes like I may just pull it down, may pull it back up, all those things like that. But like I said, it definitely was long overdue, but it just sucks to see like how rapidly it's just, changing the landscape of things. Like it's obviously affecting and star players are getting it and, missing these very important and key games, that they need in order to help their team win. But something got to be done. Like I said, NFL just came out with some stricter, tighter protocols. Like I know they have to wear masks in the facilities. They got to cut down on the number of people in the weight rooms. I think they got to do grab and go lunches now. Like it's a few things that they got to do. Like, and they're trying their best, but all in all, I don't know if they can fully prevent it. But like I say, it's definitely something. Hopefully, eventually it becomes nothing. It dies down. People are doing their part. Where, like I said, these stricter protocols help to keep things under wraps, or at least keep it to where not everybody on a team is getting. Because like you said, like more likely we're probably going to hear somebody from Golden State is going to be in health and safety protocols if there's not already somebody in there right now. But luckily they do got Wiseman and Clay almost returning. Probably I think next week we should see them be playing. But while we're on the topic of Steph, I already know. Oh, next one. We already know we're going to say it's something, of course. But my question is, obviously Steph is the all-time 3-point leader. It's been a lot of talk whether somebody may catch him or not. Do you think? Yeah, I was like, some people say that someone may catch him. I don't know. Like some people have like thrown Trey out there that he may catch him just because he's made more 3-pointers in the same amount of games. I think maybe it was like 40 more 3-pointers in the same amount of games. But just obviously he's all-time 3-point leader. Broke Ray Allen's record the other night, Tuesday night against the Knicks. Do you think it's something or nothing, just overall, like, him being 3-point leader? And do you think anybody ever will catch him?
It's something, but it's not like, I don't want to take away from the moment, but I think we all knew that he was the best 3-point shooter that the league has seen a couple of years ago. In my opinion, I did. But it's definitely something. He broke a record that's not going to be touched, and he still has years to play. So he's gonna extend this record by more and more. And the fact that he did it, I don't know the exact stat, but he did it in like 500 less games than Ray Allen did. So that just shows you, how deadly of a weapon he is, man. Shout out to him.
In some years, I was saying, some of the years he didn't even play full years. Like that 1 year he was
when he broke his hand
or something. Yeah, and then another year he was dealing, I think, with
ankle injuries and stuff.
Yeah, so he only played like 20-something years. So that's even crazier to think about. He possibly could have did it in like around 600 something, like almost half of what Reggie did or Ray Allen did it in. But
Yeah, man, he's a great coming from a small FCS school. I definitely respect him because I graduated from an FCS school, so it's like I understand he was a small dude, wasn't heavily recruited, made his name in the NCAA tournament in 2008 and just kept building on that. Never let it, he's really big on faith from what I see and what I hear. So he just trusted God's plan, put in the work. He kind of had the foundation set for him with his dad and stuff, and he just kept building on the talents that God gave him, and he just, got his full potential out of what he was given, man. It is really crazy because I just remember like when he was younger, before they started making their runs, he was good, but he just kept getting injured and stuff, having those ankle injuries, and then sadly with the Mark Jackson firing that year, what was it, 2014 was their first year kind of breaking out when they beat the Clippers, and then they lost in the second round, and then after that they just took off. They lost to the Clippers in the first round, I think. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. I'm not too surprised. In 2015, we kind of saw where it was heading, but I didn't know he would be like this. He's literally the greatest shooter we've ever seen, and I really don't see anybody breaking it. Maybe Trey, but Trey's gonna have to play for a really, really long time to do that. But as of now, I'm gonna say no because he's at 2,900 something, whatever he's at now, but if he stays healthy, I could see him getting to the 3,500s, maybe 4,000. I don't want to go too far yet, but if anybody can do it, Steph can do it. So shout out to Steph, North Carolina guy, and just glad to see him, achieve everything he's achieved in his lifetime, and I'm ready to see him, achieve more. And I think he's gonna, because of this, I know he was already respected, but down in like the history of the game, he's gonna go down as one of the all-time greats for sure. I know he changed the game because before they weren't even taking a lot of threes, and now teams are taking like at least 35 threes a game per, as a collective unit with the two teams. So he's changed the game. He's a trendsetter. Shout out to Steph Curry.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he made. There's some people saying he might get up to like 4,200. Like it's like you said, if anybody can do it, he can do it. But like I said, I think he can. Some people feel like he can keep this up, this type of season up maybe another 3 years. Could even be even longer. Cause I mean, like we've seen guys like you say. He's not even an explosive guy. Like his game is his game. Like you said, he has finesse to his game. Like most of it obviously is from the outside, but he has a little wiggle to it. You can get to the goal, you can get to the cut. Like he doesn't take as many hits. He doesn't go inside as much, but he's a lethal shooter, and shooters last a long time in the league, so he can play good minute. And say I think he's making, or he shoots a high percentage of them, but I think he makes around maybe like at least like average wise, I think like 5 or 6 a game, somewhere in there. And if he does that, for the next few years and plays around like what he's been playing or what he looks like he's going to play this year, like 65 to 70 at least, it can get ugly. But like I said, ain't nobody probably going to touch it if he gets around like the 4,000, 4,200 mark, because it looks like he could be on pace for that. Like I said, especially if he continues to play at the level he's playing at, and if he continues to play even longer, especially like I said, being a shooter. Like, even if he transforms into like that Ray Allen role, he's just a catch and shoot guy, or maybe catch 2-3 dribbles shoot guy. It can get up there. But I'm really excited to see where he does end at. Like I said, I don't know, probably in the later show in years or whatever, we'll probably gave our predictions, but I think it's going to be around 4,200 honestly, or I think somewhere between 4,000 and 4,200 for sure, like at minimum. But obviously he has another 1,000 or something to get there, but don't want to speculate too much. But I said definitely something, but in a way nothing, because we definitely see this coming. But next thing is team that doesn't really get talked about too much or get too much respect. I think they're still fourth in the East. If not, they're somewhere top four, top five, and typically they're not even in this type of conversation at this point in the year, even though it's still early on. But Cavs being a top 4 team in the East, I know we talked about it last week. We was talking about some of the teams that are pretenders and contenders. I think you say you don't know if Cleveland can keep it up. Thinking the last big game, I don't remember the record, but I know they've put together a pretty good stretch of wins to loss ratio. Like I said, I think the last time I saw the record, they're either 17-12 or 18-12. But it looks like they got a little formula cooking. It even looks like they got Kevin Love wanting to play. So what do you think? Cavs top 4 team in the East? You think it's something or nothing?
I think it's nothing. Like I said, they're a good young team. They're making some strides, some big strides. They've been bottom of the Eastern Conference every time LeBron leaves, for the first time and the second time. But it's nothing. I think it'll die down over time, and somebody else will, end up overtaking them. But they are playing decent quality basketball. They're 18-2. They have some young pieces that are not looking like I would. Darius Garland. I don't know. Maybe you disagree with me, but I think he's, has the potential to turn into a star, maybe an all-star. He's a very high quality point guard, in my opinion, and they're doing this without Colin Sexton. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing, for trade reasons. But Jared Allen, showing up as well. Evan Mobley. I've already told you guys how fond I am of him, and they're just playing good basketball. They beat some teams. The Bulls were kind of injured, but not injured, but COVID ridiculed. But they beat them. They beat the Reeling Kings. They beat the Heat. They blew out the Rockets yesterday. So I just think they've been playing quality basketball. Do I think they'll be a top 4 team at the end of the season? No, but I do think there's a good chance that they can keep it up. That they can make the playoffs for the first time in a while without LeBron. I know it's still 52 games left, but the way they look right now, they have some star talent and they're young. So why not believe in them? I'm not ready to say they're a top 4 team in the East just yet, but at the moment, maybe they are playing like one. I'm not watching them every night, but from the times I've tuned in, I think they're definitely showing some strides, and it's a lot to look forward to. The fans are pretty happy about where they're headed in Cleveland.
For sure. Like I said, it's just that they say they have like a little bit of a big 3, cooking over there with Jared Allen, like I said, Mobley and Darius Garland. Like I said, it may be because, unfortunately, because of Colin, and, maybe this is a reason that everybody's kind of able to, spring into their role that they are because, I guess Garland's getting to shine a little bit more with the ball, more so in his hands. Rubio has been a good veteran presence as well. So
marketing too. Don't forget about marketing.
Yeah,
he's a solid player. Marketing.
Yeah, exactly. So I said that them 3 bigs that they start, like I said, and they play defense. Like that's mainly where it's come because Jared Allen and Mobley, like they got the paint pretty much on lock. It's crazy. And they got obviously good wing defenders and Osman and Okoro as well. So they got a nice little formula over there. Like I say, it's definitely just new territory for all of us to kind of see without LeBron or Kyrie being there, or mainly LeBron being there. But like I like the team. I like the direction that they're headed. Like I said, I think they definitely have a chance and will make the playoffs. Like I said, I don't know where they'll fall into. Hopefully, health continues to be on their side. With everything we've been talking about, the health and safety protocols, but also just regular basketball injuries as well. And then, of course, like I said, just them keeping up, what they've been doing. I said JB Bickerstaff definitely is doing a good job with them. We'll definitely see them in the playoffs, and they probably will be a tough out. Like I said, they continue to be healthy and playing the way that they are. But definitely shout out to them. I'm gonna say it's a little bit of something just because at the moment where they are, because like I said, typically, even though it's early on in the season, like the first 30 games, we're already seeing them probably with no more than like 6-7 wins, if that. So
no, they're usually down there with the Magic and the Pistons.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said they not this year though. Good for them, but like I said, I definitely think things will start to mellow out when other teams start to get a little bit healthy and start to find their stride as well. Because there's a few teams that are injured or just haven't had the chemistry that we thought they would have. I think they'll eventually mellow out. They'll probably be somewhere in 6 or 7 range for sure. But even then, that's still a vast improvement than it has been past 2-3 years, 4 years, honestly. But lastly, last something or nothing for the day. Talked about him a little bit last week. News came out today that he will be sidelined for 4 to 6 weeks and he will be reevaluated. Just real quick, just wanted to talk about it because I saw Steven, if he is tuned in, shout out to Steven, but he said in the chat, he's done with Zion. I feel like there's a lot of other people that may be thinking the same thing. I can't even remember the last game he's played. So he's out another 4 to 6 weeks. This may turn into, who knows, like I said, if his foot keeps acting up, it could turn into a whole season. And I know last week we talked about his weight. Obviously, this week we're talking about him getting another injection. He's going to be out for another month and a half. So are you done with him? Is this something or nothing? Like I said, he'd be in sideline again, even though there was reports that he may possibly suit up around Christmas time. Obviously now that's not going to happen. But something or nothing, him being out again, out for a longer period of time again. And are you done with him?
It's something, but I'm not done with him. At this point, it's up to Zion. I know everybody's body's different, but the first thing he needs to do is drop some of that weight just to take the stress off his knees, his feet, his bones, just in general, because the way he plays, like I said before, you can't play that way at that type of weight, at that being that heavy, all that stress on your body time and time again, it's just going to take a toll over time. And so, this 4 to 6 weeks, I think this will really be an eye opener. I think it already was, but him having another setback will really give him time to sit back and relax and reflect on, where he's at with his body, his career, and just make the personal decisions in this quiet time where he's just rehabbing and chilling at the crib. He really needs to make a decision to lock in because this is his career. The money's nice. He's the first overall pick. He had a pretty, really, really good career. To start off, he's been dominant. But if you want to have that legacy, it's all about your legacy. In my opinion, as a player, how you're looked at by others once you're done playing the game. Do you want your legacy to be what could have been or what if? So hopefully, he can lock in. He's a good kid. I know he just got a chef, which is not a good sign because you should have had a chef since you got a league, especially staying in New Orleans. Like, I love seafood, bro. I feel you, but you're a professional. You got to lock in. You're a professional for a reason. You got to be different than everybody else. You got to be able to lock in and just block out the little temporary fun things. I know crawfish etouffee or crab leg sounds good, bro, but you got to pick up a salad or something. It's going to be tough. I'm not done with him, but he really needs to reflect and get his body right if he wants to have the career he had. He's a good player when healthy, but we just got to see you on the court, man. That's all it is. I'm pulling for him. I want the best for him, but he just got to lock in. Pretty sure he has some people in his corner, maybe his stepdad or his mom, at this point telling him, like, you really, really got to, change it because playing at 300 pounds or over at that, the way he plays, he's an explosive guy. It's just not manageable over a long period of time. So, hopefully he gets it together, but I'm not giving up on him just yet. He probably is shutting down for the rest of the season because the Pelicans aren't the best team, and 6 weeks will be February. So why come back for 2 months if your team's not even there? We'll see though. I'm pulling for him, but I'm not gonna give up on the kid yet. But stuff has to change really, really quick.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, I couldn't put it any better. Say it's early in his career, and I know, like, nowadays it's like hot takes, or nothing, or just quick takes, quick analyzing of players, and just quick news headlines. But it definitely is a little bit concerning. So we haven't seen him for a minute now. Like I say, and we keep saying his foot isn't responding to the surgery and the injections and all that. So, like you said, it could definitely, obviously, could be a weight problem. Obviously, his explosion. He's been doing this since how long? 7th, 8th grade. We've been knowing about him and seeing him. So, like I said, things definitely have to change quick. Like I said, it is alarming that he just got a chef. Like you said, he's been in the league 3 years. This will be the third year. Yeah, if he was playing, it would be the third year. And like I said, he hasn't. It don't even feel like he's played like as a collective whole like 82 games, like a whole one season. But he definitely has to get right. Like I said, a lot of people love him when he's out there. Like I said, he's a good player. He's out there, very, very efficient. Obviously, we were seeing him. There was a stretching point where I think he was like 60, somewhere between like 65 or 68%, from the field. Obviously, a lot of it was done in the paint, but still, like, very, very efficient player, very explosive player, very fun player to watch. And a team that could help, a young Pelicans team at the moment. Obviously, like, who knows where they would be if Zion was in the mix and healthy. So definitely got to do it, like I said, for yourself, for your health, also, for your team as well. But, and for, like you say, your legacy, you got to think about if you really love the game, if you really want to lock in, if you really want to, be something at the end of the day. Because we, 7th, 8th grade, we was here comparison. This is the next LeBron, and can't be the next LeBron, missing seasons, missing games, not taking care of your body, not putting in the work, not being out there. So hopefully, like I said, I'm not done with him yet, but it is kind of tiring each and every time. The headline is he ain't playing, or he's going to be out even longer, or, all this and that. But, hopefully, like I said, he's still young, praying that, everything responds well and he's able to, get back on the court, whether it's this year or next year, full and fresh, with the Pelicans, or whether it's another team if he demands, to get out. Either way, definitely want to see him back on the court. Like I'm saying, just want to see him play as a whole. But I'm gonna say it's definitely something, because it's just like your foot not responding to the surgery, and so you've had it for a while. You're supposed to have been off your feet, and been resting it and was supposed to come back, but obviously that's not happening for another possible 2 months. So definitely something, but hopefully eventually, again, like I said, it should be nothing. He's able to get back on the court, lose the weight, and just show us what we know Zion can do. So, but not last thing, but switching over to the NFL portion of everything. Of course, our NFL talk. We always show Jeff's power rankings before we get into everything. On the left is last week's, on the right is this week's. I'm sure you can see it, but not too many changes. I know still the Cowboys are still flirting in that 5 and 6 spot. I know that's one I'm still scratching my head about. I kind of understand it. They're divisional leaders. They've won the games that's in front of them. But at the same time, Chiefs are still sitting there at 8, 2 spots behind them. So what do you think, looking over it, scanning it? Do you agree, disagree? Some people should be higher, some people should be lower.
I think I mentioned it in the chat. I don't have too much to say besides the Jaguars should be 32, Jeff. We're the worst team in the league. I watch us every week. We're not good. We're going to beat the Texans this week, so the rankings will look fine because of that. But I disagree with I think the Packers are the best team in the league. Their defense is playing well, and they don't even have all their guys. Darius Smith and Jair Alexander haven't played in a while. When Devontae Adams was out, they won without him. They went in to beat Arizona, who was the best team in the league for a long time on the road. Gave them their first loss with the hampered team. And then Chiefs. The Chiefs should be above the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys have been playing that great of football. Their defense has kind of bailed them out in some situations. Dak Prescott has not been playing good football since that calf injury. And when the Chiefs and Cowboys played, they won head-to-head. The Chiefs are on a 5 or 6 game win streak. Their defense is playing very, very well. The addition of Melvin Ingram has been crazy for their D-line, along with Frank Clark and Chris Jones moving back inside, which I think was big. And I just think they're trending upwards. Like, me, I've always been a believer in the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, and I always said they were just going to figure out come November, and they have. They've literally been one of the best defenses in the league. Like, they went from allowing 6 yards per play to just being one of the top dogs in the league. So I disagree with that, and I love the Pats moving up. I love Bill Belichick's doing this thing. The Cardinals moving to 5. I mean, they're just not that great of a team at home. I don't know what it is. They're undefeated on the road, but at home they struggle a little bit. But other than that, I don't have too many things to say. I love the Colts at 9, the Chargers at 10. The Bills, I like that spot as well. I would say everything's fine other than that, in my opinion. I'm a little bit more a believer in the Ravens, like, as a whole, as a team. They're a good team. They just have so many injuries. Like, at a point in time, like, what can you do playing with second and third string guys? But other than that, I like the rankings. Jeff does a great job, but I just disagree with the Chiefs for sure and the Packers. We'll say, but that's just the Packers part is nitpicking. That's one spot. So there's arguments for both, but I think the Packers just overall have been the best team this year.
Yeah, I feel that. Like you said, it's cool to see the Patriots right there at 3. We'll definitely see. They got a pretty good test this week in the Indianapolis Colts, which I think is definitely a good and surging team. He has a 9th right here, pretty much in the same spot. Like you said, that's not really like Chiefs. I feel like could be up a spot or 2 in front of the Cowboys. Not shocked that he moved the Cardinals so far down with only losing by a touchdown, but the Rams were pretty dominant pretty much that second half as well. But Cardinals did a good job of sticking into it and possibly were able to win that game if certain things didn't happen. OBJ made a really, really smart play that I've seen on social media about his momentum not getting stopped, so he kind of fell back, went out of bounds, and then was able to get like another 40-50 seconds to go off the clock, and that would have been key for sure if Kyler Murray got the ball back and had that much time to be able to possibly score to tie up the game. But all in all, like I said, I agree with most of it. I know I feel like it may change up a little bit this upcoming week. With I said, I think with the Patriots, like I said, we'll see how they fare with the Colts, and then I think that's mainly the main team that has a pretty good matchup. I forgot who else. Chiefs play obviously tonight. We're about to talk about it right now. Great game, but I think they're going to handle them, pretty pretty easily. I don't want to say pretty easily. I don't want to discount the Chargers like that. They've been a pretty good team. They've won, I believe, their 3 of the last 4 games. So they're starting to trend in the right direction as well. But I don't know. The Chiefs, like I said, they're just rolling now. When we see them in this type of form, it's really, really hard to stop them. But next, we're going to move on. Got to hit on Thursday night football game before we hit on our pick 'ems. I mean, this is part of our pick 'ems, but Thursday night football, like I said, a great game. Probably the game that's going to decide the AFC West. Who do you got? Like I said, I've already kind of made my statement. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I think they'll handle them. They'll probably end up winning by at least 10 points, maybe 2 touchdowns, honestly. Because like I said, they're just in that form to where it's like it's hard to stop them. Like I said, it really was. We knew Patrick Mahomes eventually would get things right. But the defense turning around the way they have, that's been the major key. Like last week, I don't know how many turnovers they forced, but it was up there. It was around like 4, maybe 5. So I just think it's going to be hard to stop them in the form that they're in right now. But what do you think?
Yeah, man, it's crazy that we're saying this about the Chiefs, like the defense is carrying them, but it is what it is. They got on this win streak. They've been playing quality ball, and the offense is not that flashy. Like Mahomes' numbers are nowhere near what it used to be. Kelsey and Tyreek Hill's numbers aren't what they used to be. I think teams got that game plan from the Bucks, and they said we're going to sit back and cover 2 and cover 4 and make you go methodically down the field 10 play drives, 14 play drives, and at one point in time in the season, Mahomes wasn't being patient enough. He didn't want to do that, but now over watching the film, sitting down with EB and Andy Reid, they're doing that, and they're just it's not flashy, but they're winning games, and that's all that matters. Nobody cares about stats but fantasy owners and people that don't know football. It's all about dubs at the end of the day, and that's what they're doing. He's taking what the defense is giving them. Like everybody's overreacting. I know he has 12 picks, but he's 27-12. Like he's over 2-1 in the ratio, and his turnovers have been cut down over the last couple of weeks. So that's all we can ask for. The only thing I'm scared about this week, Chris Jones is not playing. Willie Gay is not playing, one of their good young linebackers. And Ladarius Sneed, he had a personal thing with the family, so he hasn't been playing. He's stepped up big as a corner this year in the past couple of weeks. So it'll be a tough matchup. The Chargers and Chiefs always have good games, even when Phillip Rivers was there. The Chargers got the first matchup, so I definitely have the Chiefs getting this one, even though it's on the road. And Rashawn Slater, like I said, Melvin Ingram getting traded from the Steelers to the Chiefs was big. Him and Frank Clark are going to be huge on the edge with Rashawn Slater being out. So hopefully they can get some extra pressure on Justin Herbert and force him into some untimely decisions. But I'm going with the Chiefs, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers won. It's going to be a good game, one of the best Thursday night games of the year. And what are their records?
So Chiefs 4, and I think
8-5.
Chargers are 8-5. Yeah.
So if the Chargers win this game, they have the tiebreaker pretty much. They swept them, and they'll have the same record. So destiny will be in their hands. But I think this will be a great game. I'm interested to see how the Chiefs defense. They've been playing well. They've really been playing well. But have they played a quarterback like Justin Herbert? Like Derek Carr's good. They had Teddy Bridgewater, Dak Prescott, who I don't think is as good as everybody thinks. They didn't get to play Aaron Rodgers. They played against Daniel Jones, so they haven't played against a quarterback like Justin Herbert, since they've gone on their win streak. So the defense will be tested, and we'll see what they can do. It's all about generating pressure and speeding up his decisions. Justin Herbert, man, he shredded the Giants last week. So you see what happens when you let him sit pretty and go through his reads. And he has receivers that are some dogs. I've always thought Mike Williams was a dog, just an underrated receiver, and he's showing that more and more this year. Keenan Allen consistent, and Jalen Guyton's one of the more underrated, slot receivers we have in this league. So we're going to have a great game. Great talent on both sides of the ball. Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr., Joey Bosa. I can go on and on both sides. So I'm really interested to see who you got in this matchup.
Like I said, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chiefs because, like you said, the Chargers won the first matchup. Both sides have some pretty key guys that's out. Like you said, Gay and Snead are 2 of the big ones for the Chiefs. But I don't know if he's slated to play or not, but I know Asante Samuel, he had a concussion. So I don't know if he's playing. I know Derwin James was also injured as well. But Rashawn Slater being out, like you said, that's going to be the key. And that's why I think that's why I was saying I think the defense is going to step up big, and they're going to get some pressure on him because like I said, Melvin Ingram, Chris Jones, all those guys. And Frank Clark said they're gonna put some pressure on Justin Herbert. And like I said, I think obviously the Chiefs don't want to get swept by the Chargers. Like I said, they'll have the tiebreaker. in the division, and pretty much like I said, this game is going to pretty much decide it, I believe. The entire division, like I said, the Chiefs more like I said, they'll basically just be a wild card team. I don't think they want that. Obviously, they're still have their eyesight on number one seed in the AFC because everyone's pretty much jumbled up right there at the top and at the bottom and in the middle. So they're looking their chops. And I think they'll end up winning this game, like I said, pretty handily. But like I said, it's always a good game. I think they'll end up pulling away. It'll probably be close for most of it throughout to the third. But I think the Chiefs will end up pulling away a few late touchdowns and, like I said, taking a game, taking a two victory lead over the Chargers in the division. Like I said, just to have their eyesight on that number one. And they've just been rolling. Like I say, 6 in a row. I'm not going to bet against them, to hit that 7th one. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs for our first pick 'em. And, of course, we'll move on to the rest of them. This is, before we get to the rest of them, how we fared last week. I didn't count that Rams Rams switch up at the end. I let you, like I said, you had it. You had the Rams pretty much all from Wednesday all the way till literally, when the game was starting. So I was like, you know what? He deserved it. Like I said, it was just probably a rash little last minute decision because Jalen Ramsey, I know that's your boy, wasn't playing. So you thought, D Hop and
the boy showed up.
Yeah, but like I said,
the defense, their D line showed up. I'll say that their D line showed up.
Exactly. So go ahead, let you keep it. But I think the only games I lost was the Ravens game and the Cardinals game. And so the other differences we had was the Cowboys. I think you went and watched the football team. Unfortunately, they didn't pull out the victory. I wish they did. It was close. So they was about to sell, but unfortunately, they weren't able to finish it off. And you picked against my Falcons. So those are the main ones. And then also the Cincy game. You picked Cincy and I picked San Francisco.
That was a great game. I watched that.
It was.
Entire second half. That was a good game.
Yeah. So those are the main ones. But of course, we're gonna move on to this week, week 15. Already handled Thursday night football. Forgot this week is actually Saturday games as well.
It's about that time.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think the next 2-3 weeks. So Raiders, Cleveland. Who you got?
This is not really a shocker. It's gonna be bad if they win without Baker and Case Keenum, but I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders. Their whole team is out. Stefanski's coaching from his crib. Baker's out. I don't even know who else is out, but they have a total of like 20 players on the COVID list. Not all starters, but a lot of them. John Johnson, Troy Hill, Jedrick Wills, Joe Patino. Like, it's just a lot of key guys that aren't playing. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders. As bad as they've been, they got their tails whipped last week, and I think that they come out with a little bit of fire. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I mean, not the Ravens. They played the Browns played the Ravens last week, but I'm going with the Raiders in a close one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go opposite. Cleveland does have a lot of key guys out, but I think Chubb is still slated to play. If that's gonna happen, as in Case Keenum was excited to play with him, I think Case Keenum's a decent backup. I think they'll pull out enough plays in order to be a pretty poor Las Vegas Raiders team. Like I said, they always fall off a cliff. This always comes. I always know this is gonna happen. With them around this time of the year. I think they're 6-7, still kind of have a shot at the playoffs, but I think Cleveland does what they need to do at home. They just make a few extra plays, in order to pull this one out, even with so many bodies out. So I'm gonna go with Cleveland. So we actually disagree on the first one. I don't know if that's ever happened, but I'll take Cleveland. I'll take that dub as well. New England, Indianapolis, like I said, another Saturday night game, probably one of the better games of the week as well. Who do you got?
This is going to be a controversial one. I've always had Bill Belichick's back with the percentage with him and Brady, success, all that, him not being the top 5 coach. I've always been in his corner, but the winning streak ends this week. The Colts are a good team. They're in our division, so I watch them a lot. They're a quality team, and the style of football they play, it gets you dubs in December and late January. So Jonathan Taylor's rolling. I know that Bill Belichick always takes away your best asset, so Carson Wentz is going to have to win the game through the air. He's not going to, they're going to still keep it balanced, but he's going to have to make plays through the air late in the game. And I think he does. I've always been a believer in him. He's fell off a little bit towards the end of his tenure with Philly, but he's been playing good ball this year. And I'm going to go with the Colts in a close one. They need this, They're right in the thick of the playoff race. And I think that Honestly, outside of the Ravens game and the Tampa game, they could be like 9-0 in their last 9 games. They were up double digits versus the Bucks and double digits versus the Ravens, and they just didn't finish. And I think they'll finish this week because they know they need it. I know Belichick says something about he'll never be on Hard Knocks, so whatever they put on Hard Knocks, he's going to be taking notes. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it's going to be a chess match between Frank Wright and Bill Belichick, with Frank Wright coming on top and Carson Wentz making some plays. So I'm going to go with the Colts in a close one.
Yeah. I was going that direction as well. Of course, the key matchup is like New England's defense has been, stellar this year, and I knew it would be, especially when they got all those guys back. But they also drafted really, really well last few years, so I knew their defense was really good this year. Obviously, like you said, they're going to try to take away Jonathan Taylor. I think they're if not one, I think Tampa Bay's one, so they may be 2 or 3, but they're definitely like top 3 in rush defense and overall defense. So, if they're able to take Jonathan Taylor away, like you said, Carson Wentz is definitely going to have to win the game possibly in the air. But I think, with Michael Pittman, T.Y. is playing okay. They got a few other guys that, he can spread the ball around to. And even if they can't hand it off to him, Jonathan Taylor is decent, catching the ball out the backfield. So I think they have enough, in order to pull this one out as well. New England's going to play their brand of football, their style of football, and it's going to be a hard-nosed, close game, but I think, like you said, Indianapolis just somehow pulls it out at home, whether it's 3 points or a touchdown. But I think they'll have enough, to pull this one out. I honestly don't even think Jonathan Taylor gets fully shut down. Like I still think he gets his, probably. I think he still goes over a buck, 100. I don't know how many carries he's gonna get, but I think he still may go over for 100. What do you think?
Oh no, I can agree with that. I was gonna just add that the Colts O-line, they started off slow this year, but they're the real deal. We know what Quentin Nelson is, but him and Ryan Kelly and others, they're pretty solid. So,
yeah. I would say, well, we're both going with Indy on this one. We'll go to our Sunday slate of games now. So, Buffalo plays Carolina. Who you got in this one?
This is another pick I had. I think I had wrong. I don't know when to pick them if I took Tampa. I think this was one of my bad other picks, though. I think I took Buffalo. They let me down last week. They had a great second half. Should have won the game, but they're going to come out ready to go. They're fighting for their playoff life. And Cam Newton, I don't have too much to say about it. It was a good story for 1 week, but he's not a starting quarterback, in my opinion, anymore. And Buffalo will take advantage of his limitations, and they're gonna have a good bounce back victory. So I'm going with Buffalo by 10. And if it snows, like if it's any bad weather, Cam's not the best thrower. If it's wet or snowy outside, good luck, Carolina. Yeah. Sam Darnold might be back in there sooner than we think.
Yeah, I know they say he was back at practice, but I don't even know if that's. It may be a little bit more of an upgrade, obviously, but I still don't think it's enough to get the win. I'm keeping it short and sweet. And the rivals, Buffalo, they need this one. They've taken 4 or 5 game slide. Honestly, they've been losing a lot of games, but they've all been close. But they've been losing a lot. They gotta get back in the win column, especially if New England wins the night before. Like I think they know what they gotta do. They know they gotta take care of business, especially at home. That next day. So I definitely taking them to win this one easily. Jets, Miami, who you got?
I'm going Miami, man. What is this? What number is this? 5 in a row, 6 in a row? No, 5 in a row. That's 6 and 7. Yeah, because they had a bye last week. I'm going with the Dolphins, man. Zach Wilson. I watched that game against the Saints last week. He had some good plays, rookie struggles though at the same time. So I'm just going to go with Miami. Brian Flores is a great defensive mind. He's going to make the rookie think, show him some stuff he hasn't seen on film. And Miami's just going to keep rolling to 500. And I said this a couple weeks ago, the way their schedule lined up, I told Jeff that they might be able to make a run, Just got to keep handling business. And I feel like they're going to be 7-7 and just right in the thick of things when people, thought the season was over. And shout out to my guy, Tua, man. He has some limitations, but he's playing good ball, shutting people up. They were trying to get him up out of there after – not even 16 starts, but he's playing some quality ball. So shout out to Tua taking the Dolphins.
Playing very, very accurate as well, or throwing it very, very accurately as well. That Jalen, that Alabama connection, Jalen, or Tua to Jalen rather, has been working all year, or most of the year.
He's on pace for over 100 catches.
Yeah, exactly. He's supposed to break a rookie record, which was set by.
I don't even know.
Somebody said I don't even know, but he's on pace to break it. But like you said, and their schedule's pretty easy for the rest of the way, so it's a possibility. Who knows? They could sneak into a wild card spot. But I'm going with Miami as well. It's just like I can't pick the Jets anymore. I think they're they've reached their win limit for the week, for the year. So 3 is enough for them. I think that's a pretty successful year, and especially given everything that we just know that franchise to be. So Washington, Philly, who you got?
Oh man, this is a tough one. It's a division rivalry. Philly had a week off to prepare. Washington's coming off a tough loss. Heineke's not 100% with that knee injury, so I'm gonna go Philly. They had a week off to prepare. They hadn't been playing terrible. Like, they played some good games. They had good games versus the Chargers and some other tough teams. So I'm gonna go Philly because it's a divisional matchup, and any given Sunday with these division games, and I think Philly will bounce back.
Yeah.
When not bounce back, they'll find themselves right back in the playoff race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Philly as well. Like I said, just because that week off, had time to prepare, had time to get healthy. And Washington, lost a few bodies, especially when I said Heineke. They were down to Glennon. Who's that? No, it wasn't Glennon. Kyle Allen. Yeah, I was Allen. I said Glennon is
Giants.
The Giants. So yeah, they was down to Kyle Allen. Like I said, Heineke may not be fully healthy coming into this one, and Philly's at home. So I think they'll win this one for sure. And unfortunately, Washington playoffs hopes will diminish. But Arizona, Detroit, pretty sure we're gonna keep this one sweet and simple. Arizona should take this one. Unless you got anything different.
Nah, they had a tough loss on Monday Night Football. The O-line is going to be challenged by the coaching staff and Kyler Murray, and I think they're going to come out ready to play. Even though they don't have D-Hop, but they didn't have D-Hop for weeks, and they've been balling. So Arizona by 14 plus. But I say that Detroit has some fight in them. Like, they're 1-11-1, but they have some fight in them, as we've seen. They should have won a lot of games. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's closer than 14. I'm taking Arizona. I'd be a fool to take Detroit.
Exactly. Dallas Giants, who you got?
All right. Dallas has the NFC East locked up after that win, but Daniel Jones is not playing. Let me stop. Their defense has been playing well. Michael Parsons is playing well. They got D-Law back and Randy Gregory, so that D-line is going to be ready to go. So I'm going to take Dallas in a close one, but Daniel Jones was playing. This is a rivalry game. The Giants are no pushover, as bad as they are. Joe Judge, I respect him for having his guys always ready to play. Like, they show, it's not what the Jaguars are like. You completely see, like, some of the guys don't want to play for their coach. They like their coach. They play hard for him, and they just come up short. But I'm going to take the Dallas again. They're going to do the same thing. They might fold in the last couple of minutes, but it's going to be a good game to watch.
Yeah, I feel that as well. Like I said, it's just, Dallas, they've been playing okay. They have let their foot off the gas at times. And it is a divisional game, so the Giants may get up for it. And they're at home, but I just don't see them being able to pull it out. I just think they have too many limitations. Like, the defense hasn't been what we thought they were going to be this year. Offensively, their receivers can't stay on the field. Saquon really hasn't been able to do much since he's came back from injury. And I don't know. I just don't see Glennon winning them a game, especially against Dallas. And like I said, that defense has been a lot better. So I'm going to go with Dallas as well. Unfortunately, it kills me. I feel like I've gone with Dallas so much this year. But, unfortunately, I got to. I hate Dallas, but, just got to go with the winning team for the sake of the Pick Ems. But next, we got Pittsburgh versus Tennessee. Who you got?
Got to be different. Got to be bold. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. Tough place to play, as we all know. Every time I pick them when they're at home, they end up winning. And they show some fight, man. I will say this: Big Ben, as watched as I say he is, and he needs to be done after this season. Like, the team as a whole, besides that dumbass play by Chase Claypool, excuse my French, but they've been playing. They played good in the second half. They showed a lot of fight. Big Ben played one of the best second halves I've seen him play in the last 2 seasons. He showed a lot of fight. Like, he was getting hit repeatedly. O-line wasn't helping him out, and he just toughed it up and fought to bring his team back. And Pittsburgh, man, I've said this before. After the season, they need to find their quarterback because they got some guys. Claypool's not the smartest guy, but him, Deontay Johnson, they can play. Like, those are some guys that will bail you out as a quarterback, and those are guys you always need. Tennessee, man, they played us last week, so it wasn't hard, but they didn't play that good of a game. I think if they go into Pittsburgh and play us how they played, Pittsburgh's going to limit the turnovers, and I think that they find a way to win. I think they're out of the kind of playoff race in a way, kind of, but Mike Tomlin's going to have his guys ready to play, and they're going to take, what happened last week personal. So I'm going to go Pittsburgh by 7.
Yeah. Shockingly, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh as well. Like you said, I think, like, I've been watching, they don't play that bad. And Ben, actually, his arm looks a little bit better than what we've seen in the beginning of the season. Like, he's he's making some okay throws at times in the games, or at least clutch throws, key throws, key drives, in order to either bring his team back or keep them afloat. So they've been playing okay. Like I said, I think they've been playing decent, good enough to be a Tennessee team that still isn't fully healthy. They've been finding ways to win as well with some major guys out like Brown. I know Julio came back last week, and obviously Derrick Henry. But I still think Pittsburgh can get this dub. Like I said, Tennessee just like kind of like up and down. They kind of been skating by with some of the teams that they've been able or had to play the last few weeks. So I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh in this one. Houston, Jacksonville. I think both of us are going to go with Jacksonville. Like I said, this is one of those weeks where I say like teams get up. Like I said with Denver, I was like they can win that game because it's one of those weeks where you get when Von Miller is traded, when one of your captains, leaders of the team is traded. It's like those are just the type of games for some reason that teams get up for. And Jacksonville obviously being free of the cancer of Urban Meyer, I feel like this is definitely one of the games they're going to get up for, and they're at home. And we may see just the greatest game, one of the greatest breakout games from Trevor Lawrence. So I'm gonna go with Jacksonville. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm still with the home team, man. I said this. NFL is just kind of weird. I kind of know how this stuff goes. One of your best players get traded, or one of your key players, your coach quits on you, or something like that. Just something bad. Teams play with motivation, and with all this going on, the noise surrounding the team, they're gonna get up and they're gonna come out with their best effort, and the offense is gonna flourish. We haven't scored over 20 points since I think the London game, which was our first win of the season. So we're just going to come out ready to play. Offense is going to be inspired. We're going to give the ball to our best offensive player in James Robinson, which we should have been doing the entire season. And we're going to win this game handily, I think, by 10 or 14. Hopefully Trevor, has a good game. I'm not one of the guys that, gives up on him after a tough rookie season. I watch every snap. I've seen the good plays, some of the bad plays. It all comes with it. You play quarterback. You're not going to be perfect. And this is the hardest position to play on the field, in my opinion. So he's going to bounce back nicely, and I think the Jaguars get their win. But this takes us out of the spot for running for the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick. But it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm sure a few other teams probably get some non advised wins at the end of the year to where you guys may end up back on that first or second seed anyway. But next few picks, I'm gonna make it quick because I gotta go unfortunately soon. But Atlanta, San Fran. Of course, like I said, I'm going to go with Atlanta. I don't care if I, lose or not, lose this pick. We're right there in the heart of the playoff race. We won last time we went to San Francisco and played them off, Julio Jones' last second catch. So I'm going to go with my squad. I think we'll find a way to, piece together and win somehow, some way. What about you?
I'm going with San Fran. I picked against them last week. It was a tough one only because they were on the road, and I just think they've been playing better. Jimmy G's playing better. Kyle Shanahan has more control of the team. Nick Bosa's showing up. He wreaked havoc all last week. So I think with y'all offensive line the way it is, Matt Ryan's going to have a long day, and they're going to lean on y'all with the running game. So I'm going San Fran. And their playoff hopes are on the line. So
yeah, that's true. Both teams pretty much playoff hopes are on the line. They're both in the same division. So they're in the same conference. So it's it's going to be a very important game for both squads. So hopefully my team fares well. But Cincinnati, Denver, I'm gonna go with Cincy. They need to bounce back win. Like I said, they played their hearts out last week and lost, so I feel like they'll take this one.
I want to be different because I got to catch up. We got like 4 weeks. I'm gonna go Denver. It's tough to play there. They played inspired last week. The loss of Demaryius Thomas and stuff, and I just think that it's a tough place to play. They went a couple weeks ago. They smacked the Chargers when they came to town. So Joe Burrow's been turning over the ball, and I can't wait to see the matchup. I'm taking Denver, but I can't wait to see the matchup between Surtain and Jamar Chase, two of the best rookies in this class. So, but I'm going to take Denver in a close one. I wouldn't be surprised if Cincy pulled it out, though, because they need it more than Denver.
Yeah. Green Bay, Baltimore. Baltimore probably will be without Lamar. And I don't know if I'd pick them anyway because Green Bay, like I said, has just been one of the better teams last few weeks, but definitely in football this year. So I'm going with Green Bay. What about you?
This is a tough place to play in Baltimore, but Baltimore is just decimated by injuries. And I do not know with, Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey out, who's going to guard Devontae. I don't really think it mattered who's guarding him, but Marlon Humphrey will be able to contain him a little bit, but it might get ugly. If Lamar plays, it'll be a very, very good game, but I think he's going to find a way to play because they need it, but I'm still taking Green Bay. Like I said, I think they've been the best team in the league all year.
Mm-hmm. Rams, Seattle. I still may have I might have a time to think. I need a little bit of time to think about that one. I don't got much time, but I'll think about it. Who you got?
I'm going with the Rams. They're hitting their stride. Well, not hitting their stride. They played inspired football last week, and they need to keep it pushing. I know Seattle potentially can find their way back into a playoff spot if they keep winning games, but I think that comes to a halt this week. And
I was about to say, I just thought about it. Tyler, I don't know if he's going to play or not. I think he still has enough time to possibly squeeze his way back in. I think he has to take, or get 2 negatives before Sunday. But I know he's out, and somebody else was out for Seattle, so like that already takes a weapon away. Focus on DK. If the Rams do get certain guys back, because I think also in those protocols, like they're making it easier for certain guys that are vaccinated to get back quicker. So Rams could have 14 people out now, but when game time comes, maybe 2 or 3, and have their important guys in there. So I'm gonna go with the Rams as well, and they're at home, so I'm gonna go with them. New Orleans, Tampa. Who you got?
This is an easy one. They got them last time. But Tampa's gonna, they're getting ready for the. They're getting ready to make that playoff run. They need this win. New Orleans is a solid team. They've shown it that they can play without, Jameson at quarterback at times, but they just need him to win games, and they don't have the guy to do that at the moment. So I'm gonna go with Tampa by 10.
Yeah, I can see that as well. Minnesota, Chicago. Ooh, this one is a tough one. I'm gonna go Chicago. They played the best they possibly could against Green Bay last
first
week.
half, especially.
Yeah,
first half.
Exactly. You're saying, and Justin Fields, still struggling a little bit, but gives them a little bit of hope. And I feel like they can pull out a win against a Minnesota team that we just don't know what we're going to get from them week to week. So I'm gonna go with Chicago. Who you got?
I'm going with. I might change this one, bro, but we got until Sunday. I'm going with Minnesota. I'm going to give them a chance to show up 2 weeks in a row. Like, they just show what they can do, man. The first half, they dominated the Steelers. Dalvin Cook had 150 yards off a bum shoulder. Offensive line had gaping holes. Like, which team am I going to get? But I'm going to assume – I know it's going to be cold out there, and Kirk Cousins doesn't play the best in Chicago. But hopefully, with 10 days of rest – 2 weeks of rest, Adam Thielen can come back off that ankle injury, and they can make this playoff push. So I'm going to go with Minnesota. But I might switch up.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm going with Minnesota. Oh. You got frozen for a second, bro.
I feel that. I don't know. I can't do it at the moment. Yeah, I was about to say you did too, but I got you back now. But yeah, I just can't do it with Minnesota. I'm gonna just stay with my pick because
I'm gonna just
I don't even know.
No, I was just saying if they prove me wrong, I'm done. I'm never picking them 2 weeks in a row again. I'm done. It's my last time.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, pretty much took the words out of my mouth because I did pick them last week. I think I picked them last week. Yeah, I did pick them last week. But yeah, I can't do it this week. So every other week I'm gonna pick them for sure. But that does it for our pick 'ems. I think we got around 4 or 5 different again this year as well, or this week as well. I think I'm up about 5 games now. So like I said, it's about that time. Got to make a move, and so we definitely got to be different. But I know it's gonna be a tight race, down the stretch for both of us. But yeah, pretty loaded show. Like I said, it was just a bunch of news these past few weeks. Past few days, honestly, last 2 days of sports news. But I don't think there's anything that I didn't hit on. You think there's anything that we missed?
Nah, man. Interesting week with the NIL early signing day, and just some of the moves in the NFL happen to be my team, my poverty of a franchise at the moment. But we're gonna get it together soon. But yeah, I truly believe I'm gonna stay faithful to my game.
Yeah, hopefully, like I said, they should pick up a win this week, so maybe that makes things better. Because it has been a tough week for Thad and his teams. So hopefully they do give you a little bit of pick me up with that. But other than that, only thing I really have to say, and then do our little segment, giving a shout out, but definitely got to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, of course, Built Bar. They've been partnering with us. They have a bunch of flavors. I still got to get my box. I think it's on the way, but they have a bunch of good flavors, and they're always doing some type of discount. But you can also get another discount, 10% off if you use our code Off the Ball when you're checking out with them. Like I said, definitely check them out. BuiltBar.com. So they got a bunch of different flavors. They're healthier choice of bar, and just packed with energy and vitamins and everything to get you right. So definitely use our code Off the Ball Network. Go to BuiltBar.com and go ahead and splurge a little bit. I know they got a few packs like to where you can just get a random amount given to you, or like I say, it's just a variety pack. So definitely try them out for sure. And then also another one of our sponsors, Bet US, fastest payout. I believe they match up to 125% when you use our code Off the Ball as well on their website. So definitely go to betus.com. They also got some guys that'll call and help you out, with placing bets and stuff if you are a newbie to it all. So go there, use our code Off the Ball, and they'll match either up to 125% or your first deposit. So definitely check them out as well. Like I say, and check out some of the guys on the network that do some sporting or some betting. I know Thad does some. I'm dabbling in a little bit, but Kenneth, Mo, Chris LeBron, they all definitely put out some picks each and every day. So definitely subscribe to their Substacks and check out their picks and bet and get some money. But other than that, I think that does it for this week's show. I'm Jelani and Thad. We'll catch you back here next week, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. That's typically our days that we're always on. But I'm sure there'll be a lot more sports news that we got to catch up on, that we got to hit on. And until then, we'll see you guys next time. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And so we'll catch you next week. Have a good one.
Appreciate you guys.